trucker protests. Recently, the Ontario and Canada has called for a state of emergency. There's been an active protest. Now, let's just try to get some of the particulars out of the way. Originally, the truckers were protesting that if they, as Canadian truckers, went into the United States, a country that is full of virus, and came back to Canada, they would have to either be vaccinated or spend 2 weeks in quarantine, which would obviously destroy your business as a trucker. The truckers union was okay with this, with I believe 80% of the union not supporting the protest. The Canadian people are okay with this, with almost 80-90% of them being vaccinated as well. However, these protests became international and interesting to Bitcoiners when the protesters, like you guys alluded to earlier, their GoFundMe and other centralized fundraising websites relying on credit cards and other traditional technologies that we've known for years don't work for these kind of political type fundraising. Their money was seized, and the protesters, in an interesting move, turned to Tallycoin. Tallycoin, yes, the website that was brainstormed by myself, instituted by DJ Booth from Australia, who also made the World Crypto Network and Mad Bitcoins web pages. Through kind of one of those things, Tallycoin allows you to fundraise for anything, really, and it just sends the money to your Bitcoin or Lightning address. Tallycoin has a page like this where it has some information about your fundraiser, but can't touch any of your money. So more along the Bitcoin lines of this, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the protest. Ben, Ark, what do you think about the idea of Bitcoin being this dual use technology where it's good for liberals, it's good for conservatives, it's good for extreme protests, it's good for non-extreme protests? Bitcoin itself doesn't care. And that gives a lot of groups, whether left or right, marginalized groups, the ability to suddenly raise funds, not have them frozen, not have them taken away by the legal system, which previously could just do whatever it wanted, regardless of left or right.
Yeah, I mean, it's ambivalent, isn't it? It's apolitical. Anyone can use it. So, you know, the Jews in Nazi Germany could have used it to secure their wealth in a way which is easy to transfer over borders. And then some right-leaning truckers can use it to accept donations through Tallycoin. Huge props to Tallycoin and DJ Booth. I mean, it's really exciting to see this project, which people use. Like, it's a useful project and a great website, and it's got that amazing DJ Booth style to it. But then to have it like plastered all over the news and people talking about it openly, I think is absolutely fantastic. And Thomas, like you say, this is something which you theorize for many episodes. You would say, you know, well, this a GoFundMe type thing needs to exist. Do it on Bitcoin. This is how you do it. It'd be really easy to do, and it would work. And then DJ Booth went and made it, and so it must be quite rewarding in a way to see.
Well, and like you say, Ben, it was great. It was in the mouths of every right-wing commentator. Tucker Carlson, who I disagree with very much, said Tallycoin, and the way they say it, they haven't really investigated it much. They say it like it's equal to Kickstarter or whatever, or GoFundMe, like a massive corporation, Tallycoin. and I know it's like one guy and like me sending him ideas and Max Hillebrand helping out and the World Crypto Network, all of us kind of beta testing it, kind of just, you know, testing it, trying.
I'm kind of kicking myself because I was trying to collaborate with DJ Booth on making like an extension for LM Bits, and where you could like easily get the funds sent to LM Bits. I don't know how we were going to do it, but DJ Booth did his part. Actually, it was me. I kind of flaked out because I was busy with other stuff. So I was sort of kicking myself. I was like, damn, could have ridden that train a little bit. But
well, it's funny because he was also trying to rename the software to a better name and to refactor it, do all this stuff to it. And he's like, oh, now it's famous under the old name and it's the old code, it's the old version, like whatever he was going to plan, you know, I don't even know if he needs it. So,
and I noticed a bunch of the campaigns on there as well have kind of been riding on the back of it. They've all been having donations, just because people are going on there funding the truckers and thinking, oh, what else can we fund? And so if anyone's got a project,
well, and that was always what I'd said too. Is always we were gonna, if you can put the fundraisers next to the other fundraisers, people will give 10 to this one, will give 5 to that one, and
you see it.
I didn't really want it to be extreme right wing protests, but yeah, it's one of those things like you say, Ben, where it is Bitcoin's neutral, and that's what I said forever. Bitcoin's inevitable. It's happening. It's good for both sides, and it's neutral. It doesn't care.
I mean, I didn't realize. I mean, I'm, you know, personally, I mean, I'm vaccinated, I wear a mask, all that stuff. I believe in all that, but I don't like the idea of people being forced to be vaccinated. But I didn't realize they obviously had that quarantine option there. So through the press, it's kind of being, through the lens, it's kind of being diluted down. So it's just they're being forced to be vaccinated. So that's what the process is about. But I mean, truckers are a huge political force. Andrew Yang talks about this in his Human Capital book about if you have with the UBI, if you have driverless cars, which will happen within the next couple of decades, truckers own their own trucks. They're incredibly important to US infrastructure. Just by blockading a few roads here and there, they can bring the country to its knees. So I kind of feel that this thing which is happening with these truckers in Canada is it's like, they're flexing their strength, and it's probably a good thing for their unions or whatever, because when the driverless trucks come along, then there's going to be a big fight which they're going to get involved in. So it's kind of interesting to see how all that pans out. But yeah, I've seen Tallycoin up there on the big screen is very exciting.
Oh, you're right, Ben. That could be a even larger protest if the truckers try the same thing to protest blockading cities versus the self-driving software. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, Josh, are you ready? Here you go. What do you think? They're raising money with Bitcoin. They have their own political issues.
They raised with GoFundMe. They got screwed with that. This is really what highlights how scary these centralized systems are, digital centralized systems. And then they tried with get funds or something, some
kind of a religious type website, but it was structurally it was the same as GoFundMe. It was centralized. It used Visa. I mean, it was the same thing. Yeah.
And so this time it wasn't them freezing the funds. It was like higher up levels of just basically taking the funds. So, Bitcoin is definitely the thing. But what happens now is that there's this for the normie, I hate that term, but just for the ease of use, they will take that and try to convert it to other things. What the great thing about this is that if Coinbase got it, they would also freeze the funds because there's very large players involved here. And so really what's beautiful about these moments, these watershed moments, is that, hey, this person's giving me a jerry can, I'll give you some sats for that. And instead of cashing it out and using the fiat to fund things, the hope is that, hey, stay away from the fiat because it will get frozen. Let's just get this economy flowing.